I'm never gonna get tired of talking about Spider-Man. Never. Look, I adore the train scene in Spider-Man 2, who doesn't? But there's another scene in that film that does not get anywhere near the amount of love or attention that the train scene gets. And that's the bank heist scene where Spider-Man and Doc Ock get into their first real fight on screen. So let's take a look at exactly what makes that sequence so special. Gosh, I love Spider-Man 2. The scene begins as a normal conversation between Peter, Aunt May, and the bank teller. As the threat is introduced, the 180-degree rule is broken to cause disorientation just as the conflict is about to happen. Nice touch. We get a quick whip pan from Peter and Aunt May to Doc Ock to indicate that the threat is near and very dangerous. I like that Peter sees the attack coming because, you know, spider senses and shit, and Aunt May is oblivious. I mean, completely oblivious. The background extras luckily don't look like idiots just running from left to right. If you actually pay attention to them in the background, it doesn't seem like someone just yelling to act scared and run from point A to point B. There's actual, you know, direction going on. Wouldn't expect anything less from Sam Raimi himself. There's that beautiful whip pan again, looking just as clean as before, serving the same purpose as before. The symmetry, the composition, the depth, it makes my heart skip a beat when I see this shot. Cut in a little closer and now we have Spider-Man swinging in the background into frame. I can't get over the depth in this shot while utilizing both the foreground and background simultaneously. And that's for everyone who said that Tobey never made jokes in these films. I love that Sam Raimi doesn't need to add artificial shakes to the camera work to add tension. The camera movements are silky smooth and typically follow Spider-Man as he swings from point A to point B. Hell, there's even this shot here where the camera is locked down, not moving at all. Never losing the intensity of the fight either. Breaking the rules in filmmaking can often lead to better results, and that's fucking awesome. The practical Spider-Man suit being shown at certain points sells the realism. In 2004, you couldn't just make everything CG because that would stick out like a sore thumb. Hell, even in 2019, a fully CG scene or character can still look pretty damn weird. Seeing that Spider-Man is vulnerable and not a god of a superhero makes not just the scene, but the character and movie far more relatable than other films. Makes the audience root for the character more as we can see that he can be defeated. Also nice to note that once Spider-Man truly sees that Doc Ock is a major threat to himself and others, the jokes stop. He doesn't keep quipping just because it's comic book accurate of the character. It's time to kick ass and shut up. The battle changing locations doesn't seem like a big deal, but now the threat went from being in a contained area to the streets of New York. The possibility of civilian casualties is far greater than it was inside of the building. The stakes were raised just by taking the battle outside. It's a good time to note just how smart both of these characters are fighting. It helps that they're both scientists and geniuses and whatnot, but seeing Doc Ock use the taxi driver's car door to use as a projectile, or Spider-Man using the bags of money that was being thrown at him as momentum to swing it back around to Doc Ock, or even this part that happened not too long ago when Peter's face was almost smashed in. I always appreciate smart fight choreography and it's definitely present here. Doc Ock holds hostage literally the one person Peter would never want to be in any sort of danger. Those stakes I mentioned before, yeah, raise it up some more. Some might call this cheesy and over the top, and honestly part of me says they're right, but getting moments like this humanizes the civilians a hell of a lot more. There are normal, regular people in danger just like me and you, and Sam Raimi won't let us forget that, even if he has to yell it in our face obnoxiously. Just think, if this was done in 2019, Spider-Man would definitely be completely CGI here. Can't stress enough how important it is to use their practical suit whenever possible. Helps the scene feel far more grounded. Such a small moment, but seeing civilians help each other out and still making sure we get quick shots of them during the fight makes it apparent that it's not just about these two punching each other's faces. It's about saving lives. But the punching faces part is pretty fucking cool. Seeing a majority of the fight so far, it's great that the camera still has yet to have any noticeable artificial shaking and won't for the remainder of the sequence. It's always following the characters and the action smoothly. I love seeing this part specifically. Seeing both Spider-Man and Doc Ock rolling around on the building fighting for the advantageous position, only to freefall and have all the music be drowned out. Just hearing the sounds of the wind, the punches, the grunts. This is way cooler than it has any right to be. Cutting to Aunt May every now and then reminds the viewer that there's still a conflict larger than just the battle between Peter and Doc Ock. Peter's fighting the time and trying to save Aunt May from falling to her death. At least that's what Sam Raimi wanted you to think.
You've stuck your webs in my business for the last time!
This line solidifies just exactly why Doc Ock is an incredible villain. He sees Spider-Man as a pest, an annoyance that gets in his way. He's not just wanting to kill Spider-Man because he's evil. He actually has his own motivation for disliking Spider-Man. It gives this and any subsequent fight these two characters will have feel warranted. Aunt May is no damsel in distress, ladies and gentlemen. She can kick some ass. She was doing it earlier too.
Ow! Ow!
Haha, yes. Always gotta include that obligatory saving the woman or man from a big fall only to swing away heroically. Wouldn't be Spider-Man without it.